Yes.
Hello, welcome to our golden acre. My name's Alicia, and this guy behind me.
Oh, that's me.
That's you.
I'm Luke.
You're Luke. Figured we are long overdue to do a garden tour, but we're just gonna do a walkthrough, look at things, talk about life with kids, with miniature homesteading, with attempting to grow food while doing soccer and basketball and all the things.
Ninja and
Strength class and all the things. Don't forget about German Shepherd ownership. Are you the best garden dog ever was?
Hi, ma'am. Yes, you can say yes to that.
Yeah, I already did. All right. Here is our second year on this garden space here. We're trying tomatoes along the bottom line 2 years in a row. Don't want to do it too many years at the same time, but like these look amazing and the trellis was already up, so we kept this up. I did manage. Do you want to point out how
Your flaws?
Yes.
Sure. Right there.
What happened?
You got a little careless and you snapped it right off.
I did. So this is, of course, our single Napa Chardonnay, and the top was on this side of the fence and it was rubbing. It was like pressed too hard against it. So I tried to like maneuver it over to this side so it had a little more freedom to move, and you will see that we no longer have a top. Of course, I was somewhat behind on trimming suckers off because we're single stemming all of these, but the one that I wasn't behind on was the one I snapped the top off. But we do have right here, right there, a sucker that I'm gonna try to let take over and help. Hopefully we'll get more fruit than what's on this right now. Yeah, so here we've got some beans growing alongside. These are supposed to be bush beans. Now they are saved seeds, so who knows how I did what I did here. But those are supposed to be yellow bush beans. We'll see. Now you'll notice here along the bottom, this is raw wool. One of the vendors at the farmers market we attend sells all kinds of really cool wool products. And she said the part that makes wool felt is very sharp to slugs and snails. So along this side, all the beans were getting completely destroyed by slugs and snails. We put them around. Initially we did some, not others, just kind of an experiment. It does seem to help. Like, it's not one of those like, you know, completely not a single slug or snail in sight. But the ones that we put the wool around initially look better now than the ones we didn't. So our next line up, so the first line, a dozen peppers and a dozen tomatoes and some beans. Second line, we've got, you want to count my peppers? Okay, so we've got, while he's counting, we've got jalapenos, Pippin Golden Honey, 3 kinds of jalapenos, sweet banana peppers, and a shishito. Go.
14.
14. We got 14 peppers. Just 14?
Oh, here we go.
Okay. Sometimes we have issues with numbers. It's hard.
I know I don't have a math degree, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Okay, he's telling the truth. I thought I had more there. So we've got 14 peppers here, mostly our sweets, some of our hots. We've got some sweet peppers right here too that want time in the camera. So we've got our stake set. We're gonna try to do a Florida weave on these peppers this year. Basically tying strings at 4 to 6 inch intervals and weaving through the peppers from T-post to T-post, and then just going straight on either sides as the plants get a little bigger, just to provide a little bit more support. Top line, we've got some cauliflower, onions. I like to plant a bunch of onions. They're just easy to store, easy to care for. They're not doing as well. Like last year, our onions were amazing. We had like massive. Maybe the German Shepherd walking through the onion bed is not helpful. We had massive onions. They looked really good. This year, they're just kind of staying small, and some of them are starting to like fall over and finish. Really small, like this right here. So I'm just not sure. Like all of these are kind of acting like they want to be done, and the actual onion bulb is really, really small. So hopefully some of these do a little bit better. We've got them planted in like 4 or 5 different places in the garden, hoping to get some good onions this year because they're just easy. They're easy to finish out. They're easy to cure.
And we use them.
We use them. We use a lot of onions. Now, one of the things I haven't done, which I wish I would have, but again, this garden season I feel like has been done in like 15-20 minute segments of planting. Like we haven't really had like a marathon planting day, except for I did take one day off of school. I took a personal day and got a bunch of stuff on the ground. But I have planted no potatoes. The whole family will eat potatoes. I have planted none. Thankfully, when I harvest, I have missed some. So we've got potatoes growing up here in this bed and then in another part of the garden as well. We were going to plant some sunflowers along the side of the fence. Didn't get there. The green stalk is not planted, although we do have some volunteer basil that came up from last year's seed. So that's kind of excited. And the thing that I would like to have done, which is not, is I would like to have more sweet potatoes in the ground. So sweet potatoes hanging out here on the table of guilt, waiting to get planted. Anything to add?
I didn't realize this was a table of guilt. I'm just gonna start laying on it.
That's what I called it last year when it was over there and there was just a bunch of plants getting yellower and sadder looking. Mm-hmm. The table of guilt is actually much better this year because my older daughter did a project of selling our extra plant starts for the Humane Society. So anything I wasn't putting in the garden went to the farmer's market and got sold. So there's not as many tomatoes sitting here just wanting to be planted.
Yeah, that extra 150 tomatoes that we planted would have been taken over just a touch. It wouldn't be a tomato of guilt. It would be the backyard of guilt.
No, it would have been the backyard of deliciousness.
Nope. Walking away from that.
Here we are at the bottom garden and our temporary gate that has been up for 8 years? 8 or 9 years. Once we made the fence this big, which was maybe year 2 or 3. Yeah.
You did not want to use this.
Everybody, brace yourselves. You were right. Documented for all to see. Proceed.
I'm proceeding.
All right. I'm going to follow you. What do you want to talk about down here?
Oh. So.
Spanning the garden while you're thinking.
Yeah. Make sure you get the moon.
Now let's see. Can the Android phone capture? There we go. Not bad. All right, you're back on.
So I think when it comes down to the bottom garden, you're kind of seeing two things that we still haven't figured out. One is with allowing a lot of things to overwinter repeatedly and keeping them in for pollinators, we've gone into the growing season with a lot more garden space used up. Where the peppers are down there was kale. Mm-hmm. And radishes were, well, they were everywhere.
They were everywhere.
Arugula has taken over kind of that whole back half of the garden. Mm-hmm. The chamomile, kind of this whole side down over here. The sunflowers that are
Yeah.
growing ridiculously. Probably, what, 30% of currently what's in here right now, we didn't plant. Well,
Yeah.
not this year.
Yeah. I didn't plant any lettuce.
No.
I haven't planted any potatoes. I didn't plant, well, I did plant a few radishes, but actually the radishes we ended up eating were all the volunteers.
Yeah. Some of the onions were overwintered.
Yeah. Well, that was actually 2 years ago. I'd done an experiment of planting onions in the fall to overwinter, to trying to get an earlier harvest of onions. That worked well. I did more last year, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
So
So within that, no, well, the potatoes that have just grown where potatoes have grown for the last.
yeah.
7
Do we
years.
want to go back there and show the potatoes?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll follow you. All right, back in 2020, this part of the garden to Luke's right was all bales of hay and bales of straw that we planted potatoes in the whole length. We just set them up edgewise, cut the strings, and planted potatoes in them. Then the hay and the straw broke down and became some pretty good soil, from what I can tell. And we've tried to plant other things. The issue is your wife apparently is not good at harvesting potatoes and always leaves some in.
Well, and you also let your turnips get to be the size of basketballs or rutabagas or whatever.
Rutabagas. So I'd planted some rutabagas in here, left them to overwinter. Like, this is what's left. Like, they are massive. This is kind of the inside of some of them. So it is just adding some organic material to the soil. But like this soil right here is what was hay and straw back in 2020. But if you look down through there, there's lots of potatoes growing. Now I have gotten some squash. I put our winter squash in here. Now, do I remember which kind went where?
Not a chance.
Not a chance.
Yeah. So when it comes to kind of planning out the garden and figuring out what's going where, it is a little bit of a crapshoot right now. One, because again, like I said, we're still working on what to overwinter, how much of it to overwinter, or not just necessarily overwinter, but to allow to go to flower for pollinators in the springtime, keeping room for what we want to plant in enough space to keep everything together, on top of soccer 6 to 7 days a week and basketball 3 days a week with other activities, and getting small chunks of time to get out here and plant, and lawnmower baggers to go down so we can't do grass clippings properly, and all the other things that just go on with life.
Yeah. One of the things that does make life significantly easier as a gardener is to be able to mulch your garden beds. You'll see we've got leaf mulch in some places. In the top garden, I have straw. Sometimes I'm a little leery of straw just because I'm concerned that it has been sprayed. We were told that straw was never sprayed, so I'm hoping that is an accurate statement. And grass clippings. This just makes a tremendous difference conserving, one, your energy in weeding, also conserving the soil moisture and preserving the soil structure. So it makes a huge difference.
Your chicks are getting beat up.
Yeah, the chicken fight, I believe. But yeah, our bagger for our lawnmower is currently broken. So when Luke mows, he's like blowing all the clippings into a pile for me, which I go around and pick up, but it's not the same thing as being able to bag the whole yard. So that has hurt us a little bit. I do think I'm gonna either go get some hay from my dad, which is a 5-hour drive, so that seems silly to transport hay, but I know that hasn't been sprayed, or find somebody that I'm confident that hasn't sprayed a broadleaf herbicide on their hay crop to be able to use as mulch. What do you got there, babe?
Corn.
There, corn.
Little corn.
Little corn. This is, I always forget the name. I've been saving this seed for a while. It's starting to tassel. The color is amazing. We've been planting this corn for 3 or 4 years at least.
Maybe 3 years, yeah.
Yeah. So that's starting to tassel. It produces like little ears, and the stalks don't get as big, don't need as much space. Works pretty well for the smaller garden. Although for the past 2 years, I managed to plant it at a time where all of it was coming ready when we were on vacation. Hoping this year that is not the case.
If it doesn't listen well. Little ears.
Dad joke. We have had possibly some of the most beautiful peas this year. The girls harvested about 1 pound of peas last night. I've decided I need to stop trying to plant peas as early as I do. I usually try in like around the middle of March, and that's kind of the guideline. They're good peas.
Go pig.
Kind of the guideline for this area is that you can plant peas in the middle of March. I have had good luck doing that. I have not had good luck with pea germination of peas here, planting that early. So the second round that I planted, you had a lightning bug like right at your ear.
Oh, he stayed. There he goes.
The second round of peas that I planted germinated significantly better than the first round, so I think I just need to plant peas later.
Could be it.
Alrighty. This part of the garden, Luke mentioned, is being kind of taken over by other things, but this is one of the projects that my daughter's doing. We allowed some space for her to plant zinnias and cosmos and bachelor buttons for cut flowers. So we allowed some space for that. Well, and actually the other thing is we usually plant in here. We take the plastic off that arch and we either plant winter squash or pole beans. And right now we're in a stage where our chicken tractor has broke twice. The back board broke. We fixed it, moved the chickens back out to the chicken tractor, and how much time did we get out of that one?
Maybe not even a week.
Yeah, and it broke again. So we're kind of at a stage where we feel like it's probably in our best interest to evaluate, tear down, and rebuild.
There's so much unnecessary weight from just slapping more and more 2x4s and 1x.
As we've been fixing, and I was concerned with predators when we were building it, so I pushed to make it too heavy.
Yes, you did.
Yes, I did. So we want to attempt to disassemble, reassemble considerably lighter with as many of the materials as that are currently on it as possible, just with lightening it.
Yes.
Which is going to be a project.
Yeah.
And it's 90 degrees this entire week. Now, so those of you that are in the South, you might laugh at us for complaining about 90 degrees for a week, but
there's a reason we don't live in the South.
There's a reason we don't live in the South. This is my blue-eyed boy who always burns and is always hot. So he is not a Southern boy. He is not a 90-degree kind of guy.
Wow.
And I don't particularly care for it either. So we'll see. We're hoping, I don't know if it's going to happen this week.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Nope.
Okay. So that's the other thing is normally part of the chicken run becomes garden space, and that's not. All right. We're running out of light. I told my husband I was going to ask him some questions. Did you contemplate?
Yes, I've contemplated everything.
So, if the garden was your thing and your wife wasn't such a pain in the butt, how would it look different than it currently does?
I would probably have less tomatoes, more variety of peppers. I mean, outside of that, I don't know. There'd be more potatoes in the ground.
Yeah, I'd like there to be more potatoes in the ground.
Yeah. Well, I would have spent less time on other things. I probably wouldn't be desuckering the tomatoes.
So single
Just
stem.
out of-
You wouldn't single stem.
No, more out of laziness, opposed to anything else. I probably wouldn't let as much go to blossom in the spring. Probably would have started yanking stuff sooner. Other than that,
So what I'm hearing is that I'm perfect.
if that's what you heard, that's clearly what I said.
There we go.
And I would have planted broccoli.
That was not me.
With the one-armed man.
It was the children.
Mm-hmm.
I actually want to go back and look at the footage. So my girls helped me plant our brassicas. So we planted cauliflower, broccoli, and Brussels sprouts, we thought. And then the German Shepherd ate the tags.
Yes, she did.
And so then I planted, and blue heron.
Mm-hmm.
It happens that there is no broccoli, and there is double the Brussels sprouts.
It's weird because the German Shepherd only ate the stickers. She did not eat any of the plants.
Yeah, she just ate, like, there was like popsicle stickers marking the plants, and somehow my helpers planted no broccoli. Do you know how this happened? We had double Brussels sprouts and no broccoli. So yeah, we have a lot of Brussels sprouts and 0 broccoli this year. So hopefully we'll get some good fall broccoli.
It's only hope. That's all we got right now.
So we're running out of daylight. We didn't show you everything, but we didn't actually plan on getting all the way around with the amount of daylight that was left.
Nope.
So thanks for joining us in the garden. And we'll continue to share how we... Mosquito?
You got bugs.
We'll continue to share how we...
I'm real popular.
You are really important.
Mm-hmm.
We will continue to share how we attempt to grow food on our 1 acre with 2 busy kids, with 2 full-time jobs, and all the things.
And Mother Nature being a fickle mistress.
That one. There's a mosquito right here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know.
Thank you for joining us.